Joker, FOLIE A DEUX. You have to do the whole hand gesture and say it with an accent. It loses its meaning if you don't say it like that. So, Joker, FOLIE A DEUX is the sequel to 2019's Joker, a movie which I really love. It's starring Joaquin Phoenix once again as Arthur Fleck / the Joker, and once again directed by Todd Phillips. Joker, FOLIE A DEUX, sees the Joker in Arkham Asylum while awaiting trial, and he meets Harley Lynn Quinzel, played by Lady Gaga. He discovers the music he never knew he had inside of him. I'm a really big fan of the first Joker movie. I thought that it was really, really good. It said a lot about mental health and mental illness and just how far society can bring somebody to go crazy when they feel like they aren't as accepted as they probably should be. The idea of a Joker origin story kind of baffled me, but the first one pulled it off, and I know that there's other Joker origin stories out there like The Killing Joke, so I gave it a chance and I really loved it. But the idea of a sequel to Joker didn't make sense to me. But box office says otherwise, so they had to make a sequel. When I learned that this was a musical, I became a little bit skeptical. Not because it was a musical, but because A, it was a sequel, B, it was trying something new that I just didn't think really fit in with the whole world that the first movie set up. And while there are things that I like about Joker, FOLIE A DEUX, well, that's a big sigh. This is bizarrely, shockingly, really bad for a $200 million big budget blockbuster. I have never seen such a massive decline in quality from an original to a sequel, and it's night and day with the two of them. The things that I liked were Lady Gaga as Harley Lee Quinzel. The fact that she goes by Lee, I think, is actually stupid. But even then, Harley Quinn in this movie just feels stripped away of everything that makes Harley Quinn Harley Quinn. It's by design because they wanted it to fit in this world of Gotham. I just don't think it fits, but Lady Gaga, when she's on screen, is great. I've loved Lady Gaga and everything she's been in, even if it's been a really good movie, a middle-of-the-road movie, or a really bad movie. She has a lot of acting talent, and I'm not trying to disparage her as a singer or anything. I prefer her acting ability to her singing ability, and she's still a really great singer, and she proves that with this movie and the musical numbers. Visually, it looks good. It still has that grimy, gross feel to it that the first one had. You might feel a little unsettled by some scenes because of how they're shot or how they look or exactly what's happening in some scenes. Gotta praise the movie for its ambition. It's at least out there. It's trying to do something new. It's trying to be something different. But the way I can describe Joker FOLIE A DEUX is that it is The Hangover 2 to The Hangover. It's the exact same movie. The movie's so hollow in what it's trying to say. It's retreading familiar ground. It's retreading everything we know about the first one without trying to say anything new, even though it thinks it's saying something new. There's this added element to this movie that they try to play off that Arthur Fleck and the Joker are split personalities. That's like the only new thing. The rest of it's just the same regurgitated themes from the first one that we loved, and in this one, it just feels so much more hollow. It doesn't have anything more to say about them. It's just saying the same things. The musical numbers for me did not work, and it's not because it's a musical. The musical numbers just felt so out of place. It's strange to me because I don't think the songs were really good. I don't think Todd Phillips knows how to direct a musical sequence to save his life, and it's weird because it'll flip-flop from reality, and then you know that the musical sequence are taking place in Arthur's mind, so it turns into this fantasy kind of, which makes sense from Joker's standpoint. It felt really detached from the rest of the movie. It was so jarring. It didn't do anything for me. It didn't really expand upon the plot. It just really focused more on Joker and Harley Quinn's fantasy love. And by the way, when I say Lady Gaga is really good in the movie, she's really good when she's utilized. Harley Quinn in this movie is super underutilized. I was really digging what they were possibly going to do with Harley Quinn for the first half of this movie, and then once the courtroom trial sets in, she just becomes like sort of like a fly on the wall, just a face in the crowd. She's just sitting there. And she doesn't do anything. There's nothing there to her character. They try and give you something, but even then, at the beginning, when it's mentioned why she's in Arkham Asylum, you don't really feel as if this is like, oh, the Harley Quinn that we know and love. And that's gonna rattle a lot of Batman fans. It's gonna rattle a lot of comic book fans. It's gonna rattle a lot of DC fans. And I think what else is gonna rattle a lot of DC and comic book fans and Batman fans as well is not just the ending, but the fact that Todd Phillips has explicitly stated that this isn't the true version. This version of the Joker doesn't become the Clown Prince of Crime. So to me, it's kind of like, okay, so what is the point? What is the point of Joker? What is the point of Joker? FOLIE A DEUX. What is the point of telling Arthur Fleck's story if he doesn't become the Clown Prince of Crime? The ending is gonna really be make or break for a lot of people. Listen, I'm gonna give my rating for this movie at the end of this review, but I could have given it a higher rating if it weren't for that. I guess it's their way of saying, all right, we're kind of done with this world, but it didn't work for that's what I mean. This movie takes big swings. It has bizarre swings that it thinks it's hitting, but it's a huge swing and a miss. The courtroom drama I actually liked. I was really enthralled in the courtroom scenes. I thought that the trial was the most interesting part of this movie, but even then, it could have been expanded upon. The themes of Joker could have been expanded upon in Joker FOLIE A DEUX. I thought, like, at the end of Joker, didn't Joker inspire, like, a huge riot where he was inspiring people to follow him and dress up in clown makeup? There's not a lot of that in this movie. I thought that maybe that there would be, like, more of, like, a fallout from the consequences of what happened when he went on live TV and shot Murray Franklin live on TV, and he had all those rioters that were dressed up in clown makeup. It could have been a little bit more interesting, but the movie just is so bogged down in this courtroom drama that I still actually did like, because it felt like the movie was having a plot in that point. It just doesn't feel like it's a forward moving movie. A good chunk of this movie is just stuck on Arthur and Arkham falling in love with Harley Quinn, and then the courtroom trial, and then the end. And that's the entire plot of the movie. The entire plot that they're trying to tell here doesn't warrant a 2 hour and 20-minute runtime. And I'm just gonna flat out say it, the movie's really dull and boring. Once again, I know boring's a really generic term to use to describe a movie, but at least in the first one, I'm not asking for a Joker origin story to be like this action thriller, you know? These two movies are essentially dramas. Okay, in the first one, at least the first one, there was at least something in every scene that kept showing us Arthur Fleck's slow descent into madness, and the rise of his Joker persona, and how he became Joker. This movie doesn't have any of that. It's really just him hanging out in Arkham, and then, oh, there's scenes where he has to go to a courtroom because he's on trial. And that's the entire thing. There's no forward moving action. There's no real inciting incident like there was in the first one. There's nothing that's really going to grip you in any scene to be like, I need to keep watching more, not even the musical sequences. For me, the courtroom stuff worked, but for you, maybe the courtroom stuff doesn't work. I know a lot of mutuals that said that stuff just didn't work. I think what everybody can agree with this movie is that Lady Gaga is really good. The visuals are really good. The ambition is there. I think people will appreciate the fact that it is trying to be different, but at the same time, it does feel like it is the same movie. It feels like it's The Hangover 2. The Hangover was really good, and then The Hangover 2 really dipped in quality. Joker was really good, and then Joker FOLIE A DEUX really dipped in quality. And I want to talk about Joaquin Phoenix for a minute. Listen, I give him credit for trying, but he cannot sing. The next every time he was singing and he was just screeching and oh, it was worse than nails on a chalkboard. And honestly, Joaquin in this movie, I love him in the first one. I'm happy he won the Oscar. Here, I don't think his heart and soul was in it. I could tell in some scenes he was trying to do like some method acting in some scenes. There's one courtroom scene where he literally gives Arthur Fleck like a cowboy accent. I don't know why, but in many scenes, I feel like he's just giving blank stares. He's like, okay, are the cameras rolling? Do we have to do this? I really don't want to make a sequel to Joker, but the studio's making us. And Todd, you can tell Todd Phillips is like, yeah, man, I get it. Yeah, let's just get the scene be done and then just call it quits on this franchise. That's how I felt with Joaquin Phoenix in this movie, unfortunately. And when you have an actor who doesn't look like he's in it, I'm not going to care so much about the main character. Arthur Fleck doesn't move forward in this movie. He moves backwards, honestly. And the movie, unfortunately, doesn't tackle any new themes or doesn't follow up on what the ending of the original Joker really implied. Instead, it's just here's the themes of the first one, regurgitated. Although we're going to try and skin it as something different, a musical, which the trailer doesn't really tell you. They didn't market it as a musical, and it is a musical, despite what the marketing and Todd Phillips will tell you. And we'll say it's something different when it's not. It's the same thing. This is one of the most disappointing movies I've ever seen, and it's actually a fairly bad movie. The dip in quality from the first one to this one is really, really mind blowing. It is really jarring. I cannot believe that this movie was as bad as it was. And it's mostly because of how the movie ends. I could have been a little bit more lenient on it, but that ending did rub me the wrong way because I can't really spoil it here. Maybe I'll talk about it more in a spoiler review, but man, Joker, FOLIE A DEUX is such a disappointing mess. It's going to polarize people. I really don't know what people are going to think of this, but I don't think much of it's going to be positive at all. I enjoyed Joker FOLIE A DEUX with stale popcorn, which is crazy. Ugh, man, what a bizarre, shocking sequel that I'm happy went for it, but just struck out looking with the bases loaded to end the bottom of the ninth. So if you have seen Joker FOLIE A DEUX, let me know what you think of it in the comments section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.